Okay.
Ever wondered what the Wild West tastes like?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
With a Bulleit 95 rye.
Nice.
So, we've been looking around Scotland.
Yep.
Travelling around, we've checked out all the regions. So I thought before we get any deeper into that, I'll show you what some of the rest of the world has got to offer.
Okay.
All right, so this is one hell of a slap in the face. I thought I'm just going to throw you something completely left field.
Okay, fair
something
enough.
you haven't had before.
Yeah.
Right, so this is rye whiskey out of America.
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to get too bogged down on the history of the distillery. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. I think 87, Tom Bulleit, come up with this recipe from his great-great-grandfather or something, fired it up, and of course, you know, so they ran with the family recipe for a while, but then of course Diageo gets involved. Of course. Now they're just a big distillery, big mass-produced sort of thing. So these guys, I think they started with bourbon and moved into rye. But, well, do you know what a rye is?
Well, no, actually, that's going to be my first question. What's the difference between a bourbon and a rye?
All right, so, well, with Scotch is just, fermented from 100% malted barley.
Okay.
Right? A bourbon is at least 51% corn mash. And then everything else from there can be rye, grains, barley, malted barley, a wide array of things. Rye has got to be at least 51% rye.
Right.
A mix of sort of different things.
Okay.
And so from that rye, it's a very peppery, potent eucalyptus punch in the face. And what's crazy about Bulleit is why I wanted to jump on these guys to show you what a rye is because they run 95% rye in this.
95% rye.
And 5% malted barley, I believe.
Jesus
so if you're going to find out what a rye is,
this is the way to go. Right, fair enough.
So, distilled in Indiana. You know, very typical American stuff, aged in charred oak barrels. You know, basically a bourbon, but just with a different mash to begin with.
Right.
You know?
And this is the same charred oak barrels that they're only allowed to use once?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe the rules still stick with rye. They definitely do for bourbons, yeah.
Right. You'd think our cameraman would have waited until after this segment.
Some things can't wait.
Just a little bit of patience. Our live audience is waiting. I mean, come on. Okay.
So, yeah.
95% rye from Indiana.
So, again, we've been tasting scotches. So we've been drinking, you know, warm cuddles and hugs, right? This is a slap in the face from a calloused hand.
That's how you describe Scotch. Cuddles and hugs.
So what? Look at it. So, I mean, you think Wild West movies, right? This is it. This is what they're drinking. This is sitting on the, you know, on the porch with a shotgun and a rocking chair. This is.
You're saying Wild West movies. Are we talking Clint Eastwood here, or you know, Marty McFly, Back to the Future? Because
taste it and find out.
There's a fair kick to the smell, all right.
Yeah. See, I'd say it's probably going to be a bit of a challenging one for a beginner. See the eyes water.
Even as I was taking the sip, more of it went up my nose.
Yeah.
And just went, oh,
it is a good cleanser.
It's like it's sitting in the glass.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, as I said, with that high rye content, you're getting like pepper, you're getting eucalyptus, even a bit of mint, like just all those. It's not spicy as in a chili spice.
Yeah.
But it's spicy as
like
in
a
that.
Peppery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even cinnamon. I mean, there is a hint of sweetness there, I think, again, coming from those oak barrels and stuff, but it is dry at the same time.
Right. You might be detecting that.
Yeah.
I'm all about the pepper now at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to make me sneeze with the old smell of it.
I mean, we probably could have warmed ourselves up with something first. It'd probably go down a lot smoother. Just to go straight into it, it's quite a...
Warm up with something. You're edging very close to saying, let's put a mixer in, all right?
Well, speaking of that, I mean, don't quote me, fact check me if you can. I believe one of the distillers, like one of the fellas that work there, sorting out the flavours and whatnot, do recommend ice with this.
Okay.
They reckon it goes all right.
All right.
So if you got a bit of ice there, I reckon we should.
I so happen to. Yes. Okay. Now, big cube, little cube. What are we talking here?
Oh, a big decent cube, I think.
Big decent cube, or well?
Yeah.
Do you want 2 cubes?
Yeah, I
or
might
one?
go a double.
We'll go a double. Okay.
So with adding ice to any, and water just in general, to any sort of spirit like this, once it melts a bit, you start separating the oils, like the what is it, the non-soluble liquids to the soluble. So the water and oil will separate.
Right.
And so you'll get something different as it's layered.
Okay.
You know. And
So-
two, so being a bit colder, it does take a bit of that hit and taste away from it.
Yeah.
But
There's a little less of a stronger smell to it, all right? It's like that's already been diluted.
oh wow,
So would you get the same effect if you were to just use a drop of water?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Same thing?
absolutely. I mean, you mightn't get the same taste, but you get the same effect.
Same effect. though. Okay.
It comes through very herbal, like a bit minty, bit even a touch of cinnamon at the start. It disappears quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, very herbal, I think is going to be the word. Like, it's not akin, like it doesn't taste like Jaeger, but it's akin to that sort of style.
Well, nothing tastes like
No,
Jaeger.
it doesn't taste anything like it, but
No.
it's that herbal sort of hit.
Yeah. I feel like Jaeger's a bit more medicinal, maybe, from memory. But that definitely goes down a bit smoother, but then it's still there in the back
really?
of the throat.
Yeah,
It's still there. You still get that kind of peppery
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing
it's
in the back
yeah,
of the throat
very
a little
peppery
bit.
hip.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's strong, fresh cracked black pepper. It's nothing mild
No,
about it.
that's right, yeah. This is not the home brand, whittled down to tiny
The
flakes.
little packets.
That's right. No. Yeah, it's
Yeah, so
definitely
that's interesting.
yeah, it's definitely different to
Yeah.
the Scotch, to your cuddles and hugs.
Well, I said they're 95% rye in that. Generally, if you get a rye, it's only usually around, what was it, like 51 to 70%.
Right.
They usually don't kick it up that strong. So I just thought, just to show you what it's all about,
Yeah.
to see the world.
Just go, yeah.
We'll go whole Hulk.
Just go hard at it. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, all right.
I mean, there's nothing complex about it. It's just all those flavors at the front are just bold. They smack you,
Yeah.
and then,
And then they're gone.
I mean, they float, but you're not finding anything new in there every time. It's just there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gone.
Well, it's definitely different, all right. I do think the ice helps. It
Yeah,
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bulleit are again one of your big brands. I mean, you got your Jim Beam, your Jack, and they're sitting just behind them.
Okay, right.
They're not like any sort of crafty distillery or anything. They're up there with their mass production.
Is that because of Diageo, though? Or is that just...
I believe they really fired it up.
Really fired it up, yeah.
I think there was some other companies before that sort of started kicking them, and then Diageo took over and got
then
them a
went,
big distillery and whatever.
Yeah.
Really,
Well, the likes of
pushed
Jack
into it.
Daniel or even Kentucky, Kentucky bourbon or that, those ones I've seen, they're standard on a shelf.
yeah,
Bulleit I haven't necessarily seen.
yeah, right.
Not that I'm looking for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I'll
you
notice
just,
it now,
just
I'm
look
sure.
to the left a little bit and you'll see it there. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just there.
One slot over, yeah?
Yeah, so, in saying that, like, I think in Australia it's still about $80 or shy of. I feel like around America I've heard it's a lot cheaper. It is very easily accessible.
I think all alcohol is a lot cheaper
Yeah, well,
in America
it is.
in
It
general.
absolutely is, but I think this is just everyone seems to have it because it is so cheap
Yeah.
over there. 45% too, keeping it up there. So, I don't know, what do you think? It was
Well,
a new
I
30.
definitely prefer the likes of Lafroig. That's still my favourite out of them all, I think. But yes, it's definitely interesting. What would you give it now?
Look,
Maybe your 5 glasses.
I do enjoy it, but it's definitely a time and place.
Okay.
Right, it's not you come home and just grab a glass because you want it. It's got to be, again,
You're in the mood
right.
for it.
Yeah. When you're in the mood for it, I do enjoy it, especially if you got like a cigar smoker as well, and if you get like one of those lighter flavour sort of cigars, it goes really well with this. Like if you're into that sort of thing, like not a strong, bold, dark flavour one, but just one of those lighter ones.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Nice.
So I don't mind it, but in saying that, it's not something I'm always reaching for. I've always got a bottle in hand for when I'm in the mood, but Honestly, I'd probably only give it a 2. I mean,
A 2.
it's a bit hard to compare it to a Scotch.
Yeah.
Because it is a completely
Completely different, yeah.
But yeah, I'll give it a 2.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Now, do you always have one on hand though, because you buy one and then you rarely drink it?
It takes a while to get through the bottle.
Right. Yeah.
When I empty it, I usually grab another one. I'm like, oh, I haven't had one of them in a while.
Fair enough. All right. Well, yeah, I'm still for the moment. I'm sticking with the Scotches. The Yanks can keep their ryes, but I'm open to try more. So, all right.
There you go. There's the Wild Western glass.
Definitely a Clint Eastwood.
Cheers.
Nice.